If you're using a planner, but it's not actually making you more productive, you're probably missing one crucial thing: the right layout. Today, we're walking through 3 simple layout tweaks that will instantly double the value you get from your planner. And trust me, once you see how these work, you'll never go back to your old system. If you're serious about getting organized, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss our weekly planning and productivity tips. Let's start with something that might seem obvious, but most people get completely wrong. Your planner is only as useful as the layouts you create inside it. A beautiful planner with a confusing layout is basically just an expensive notebook that makes you feel guilty every time you open it. But a simple planner with the right system, that becomes an extension of your brain. The first layout tweak we're talking about is something I call the priority matrix layout. Here's what happens when you don't use it. You write down everything you need to do, and then you spend more time deciding what to do than actually doing it. You open your planner, you see 15 different tasks, and your brain just shuts down. Sound familiar? That's decision fatigue, and it's killing your productivity. The priority matrix layout solves this by dividing your weekly spread into 4 distinct quadrants. The top left quadrant is for your urgent and important tasks. These are the things that have deadlines and matter for your goals. The top right is for important but not urgent tasks. These are your long-term investments in yourself and your life, your health, your relationships, your learning, your skill development. These don't have hard deadlines, but they matter enormously. The bottom left quadrant is for urgent but not important tasks. These are the things that feel pressing but don't really move you forward. Emails, some meetings, some notifications. Finally, the bottom right is for tasks that are neither urgent nor important. These are the time wasters, the distractions, the things you should probably eliminate entirely. What makes this layout so powerful is that it forces you to categorize your tasks before you start your week. You're not just making a list, you're making a strategic decision about where your time is going. And when you're making those decisions intentionally, you're about 70% more likely to actually complete the important work. But here's the thing about the priority matrix. It only works if you actually use it, and most people don't. They write it out, feel good about themselves, and then go back to their old chaotic system. To make sure you don't do that, you need to review your matrix every single morning. Spend 5 minutes looking at your quadrants. Ask yourself, which of these urgent and important tasks am I going to absolutely crush today? And make that your focus. Now let's move to the second layout tweak. And this one is going to feel almost too simple when you first hear it, but I promise it will change how you use your planner. It's the time blocking section. Most people write their tasks, but they don't assign them to actual time slots. So what happens? Tasks just float around in your planner like ghosts. You don't know when you're going to do them, so you don't actually do them. The time blocking layout is simple. You take a section of your planner and you draw it out like a mini calendar for each day. You divide each day into hourly chunks, or if that feels too rigid, 3 or 4 major time blocks: morning, midday, afternoon, evening. And you assign your top 3 to 5 tasks to specific time blocks. What this does is create what researchers call a commitment effect. When you write down that you're going to work on your most important project from 9 to 11 in the morning, your brain takes that seriously. It's not just on a list anymore, it's locked into a specific time. And that makes you about twice as likely to actually do it. The power of time blocking is that it forces you to be realistic about what you can actually accomplish. You can't say you're going to do 5 major tasks and then wonder why you didn't. You physically can't fit them all in your time blocks, so you're forced to be intentional. And that intentionality is what transforms a planner from a wish list into an actual action plan. Here's how you set this up. Take a page in your planner and divide it into your major time blocks. Morning block gets 4 to 5 hours of deep work. You put your most important task here. Midday might be admin work, emails, messages, whatever needs handling. Afternoon might be another deep work block, or it might be meetings and collaborative work. Evening might be planning for tomorrow and lighter tasks. What matters is that you're creating a visual structure that matches how you actually work. The third layout tweak is probably the most transformative of all, and it's something I call the reflection and iteration section. This is where most planners completely fail. They help you plan and execute, but they don't help you actually learn from what you do. You keep making the same mistakes. You keep falling into the same patterns. And your planner just becomes a record of your habits instead of a tool for changing them. The reflection and iteration layout is a weekly or monthly section where you look back at what actually happened. You review your priority matrix. Did you actually complete the important tasks, or did you get caught up in urgency? You review your time blocks. Did you stick to them, or did tasks take longer than expected? And you ask yourself the crucial questions: what worked, what didn't, and what's one thing I'm going to change next week? This section doesn't have to be fancy. It could just be 3 questions at the bottom of your week. What am I proud of? What didn't go well? What's my one key adjustment for next week? But here's what's incredible about having this dedicated space. It creates a feedback loop. You're not just planning. You're planning, executing, reflecting, and adjusting. And that's how you actually get better. Research on habit formation shows that reflection is one of the most underrated components of change. You can have the perfect system, but if you're not regularly looking back and asking what's working, you'll never optimize it. The reflection section forces you to do this. It makes it a formal part of your planning process. Now let me be honest about something. Adding these 3 layouts to your planner might feel like more work at first. You're creating more structure. You're spending more time on your planning system. But here's what happens. Your actual execution becomes so much cleaner that you save an enormous amount of time. You're not spinning your wheels trying to figure out what to do. You're not wasting energy on low-priority tasks. You're not repeating the same mistakes week after week. The math works out to roughly double your productivity, not because you're working twice as hard, but because you're working twice as smart. You're directing your effort toward the things that actually matter, and you're constantly optimizing your system based on what you learn. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like when you're using all 3 together. You start your week by creating your priority matrix. You list everything on your mind, and then you sort it into those 4 quadrants. Urgent and important gets about 40% of your week. Important but not urgent gets another 30%. Urgent but not important gets about 20%. And you try to minimize things in that bottom right quadrant. Then you create your time blocks. You look at your important tasks and you schedule them into specific time slots. Your most important work goes in your peak energy hours. If you're a morning person, that's 9 to 12. If you're a night person, that might be afternoon or evening. You honor your natural rhythms. During the week, you execute against your time blocks. This is where the real work happens. But you're not just working blindly. You're working with intention because you've planned it out. And at the end of the week, you spend 15 minutes in your reflection section. You look back, you ask yourself the hard questions, and you adjust for next week. Over time, this process becomes your competitive advantage. While other people are running around in reactive mode, constantly putting out fires, you're working proactively toward your real goals. While other people are overwhelmed by their to-do lists, you have clarity about what matters. While other people are repeating the same patterns, you're continuously improving. And here's the beautiful part. This doesn't require a fancy planner. You don't need to spend $100 on the perfect system. A simple notebook and a pen is enough. What matters is the layout. What matters is the structure. What matters is that you're thinking intentionally about how you organize your work. If this video has been helpful and you're ready to transform how you use your planner, please like it. It helps us reach more people who are trying to get their lives organized. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you join our community. We cover planning, productivity, goal setting, and all the systems that help you actually build the life you want. Before you go, I want to ask you something in the comments below. Which of these 3 layouts resonates most with you? Are you struggling more with prioritization, with actually executing your plans, or with reflecting and improving? Let me know what your biggest challenge is with your planner right now, and I genuinely want to know what would help you most. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.